And we're live. Timeless Mysteries. How's everybody doing tonight? I don't see anybody. It's not showing up. Here's the comments section. So what do you know about Nichol Kessinger?
Well, Nicole, I know she was Chris Watts' other lady, I guess, and put it in nice terms. But yeah, Nicole, I think she had a lot to do with what, drove this man to do what he did.
Yeah,
Um,
he was having issues already, you know.
yeah, I think
But
he was having issues, and her coming along is what drove him past, those issues and made him, I don't know. I don't know why he would think that would be the best decision, but that's what it drove him to.
yeah, when it comes to like having an affair, I think the people that do have them, they don't think about that part. They think about
Yeah.
right now, and that's it. You know,
Hmm.
it's a pretty selfish thing. And if you look at the statistics, they don't last usually. So
Yeah.
it, it usually ends badly for the guy.
Hmm.
If you know, you
Yeah.
got instead of just one person hating you, there's like two,
Yeah.
and in this case, like the whole world almost.
Yeah, for sure, the whole world. But it's
Hey
crazy though to
guys,
think.
this is Timeless Mysteries, the late edition. We got Esteban here. Um, I see a couple people have joined. Let me know where you're from in the comments section. Um, yeah, so there are some stories that just stick with you, and this is one of them. This was a family that was ordinary. They had a big house, they had nice cars, they had, you know, nice clothes, they had good friends, they had good jobs. And, this is in a neighborhood that, everybody knows everyone. Nobody really has to worry about, uh, you know, crime. And
Yeah.
when Chris Watts decided to do this, he kind of like destroyed an entire neighborhood, not just his own family. Everybody in that neighborhood probably was traumatized.
Yeah.
Hey, Olga, glad you're able to join. I know it's pretty late uh, on the East Coast. It's only 8 o'clock here. You can see
Yeah.
the sun shining over there behind Esteban.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it doesn't get dark here until like 2.
Yeah. No, yeah, but it's crazy how, you see it from the outside in. You're like, man, they had a, beautiful family, a house, a great job, they were doing well, having another kid on the way, and then, this happens, and like you said, it affected so many people. Like the neighbor, I hear the neighbor that had the camera, he had to move because of all the people
Mhm.
coming over, trying to see the house. So it affected so many people that it's crazy to, you think, oh man, anybody would like to have that, that family, that house, you know, everything they had, and then this dude just threw it away.
Yeah. Do
It's,
you know how many people I've heard say just that? Like,
yeah,
they're talking to me, but they're actually talking to Chris Watts. Like, why
yeah,
did you do that, man? You
yeah,
had everything I want, and you just
hmm,
destroyed it.
yeah,
Like, nothing. People would die for what he had. Even about to
yeah,
go bankrupt, they would literally
yeah,
probably, if they'd have known this was going to happen, they probably would
hmm,
have like kidnapped him, took him
yeah,
somewhere,
yep,
dropped him off in a torture toy box thing, like
yeah,
something. I don't.
yeah,
But I've heard several people say that they're just like they can't believe that he had
yeah,
everything he had, and he just
hmm,
got rid of it. And he actually thought that it was worth like killing them to get them out of his life. He actually thought he was going to get away with it.
Yeah, it
Um,
makes you wonder if he really thought like, hey, I could do this and get away with it. Like, what was he really thinking? Like, did he really actually think that's possible? Hey, I could do all this and nobody's gonna question where my kids are at. Nobody's gonna question where my pregnant wife is at. Like, I don't know
I,
what went through his mind.
yeah, I suspect he, in his crazy head, the way he was thinking at the time, yeah, it sounded like a good idea, except for he was crazy.
Yeah.
And, when you're crazy, you don't know you got a crazy idea.
Mhm.
Um, he,
Makes me wonder at what point, you know, did it go in his mind like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do and I'm gonna go for it so I could be with Nicole. Or if it
well,
was just like overnight, which I don't think it was just that happened that night, I think he kind of wanted this other life and didn't know how to get rid of, the life he had and chose the wrong way to do it. But
you know about the 111-minute phone call, though, right? That
no.
happened that night before he murdered his family.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that phone call, people are like, they everybody has their opinions. Esteban, I think we might have lost you. Um, I'll give him a sec. I think he had an issue. But yeah, that stupid 111-minute phone call is, yeah, I think he'll come back. But let's see. I've got some, I think he's coming back. It looked like he was for a second. I've been digging into this story for a long time now. And the more I learn, the more questions I have. It's not just about what happened in those terrible days back in August 2018, but how we as a society are like perfectly fine, destroying this mistress's life without knowing for sure what she did. We make a lot of assumptions. She
Yes.
deleted stuff on her phone. She forgot conversations. She made a lot of statements that was very, um, she said she didn't know that Chris Watts was married. She thought he was separated. He was sleeping in the basement and all of that stuff. But there's so many rumors. This woman can't even go out in public. And,
Yeah.
part of me is like sympathetic. Hey, well, what if she didn't do it? Because we don't know for sure. I
Hmm.
mean, you could have a billion red flags and then, you know, nothing really happened.
I think that with her, what happened, she was, I don't know, in my opinion, I don't think she ever laid it on the table like it was. There's so many unanswered questions about her. Like, why didn't she get investigated more? Why didn't, what did she really know about, what happened? So I think that's where the little, gray area is at. Like, okay, why so many unanswered questions with this woman? And
Yeah.
now she can't even live a normal life, I think, with everything that happened. Because everybody that knows her or, sees her is like, oh, well, that's that woman that, is involved or had some involvement in this. And yeah, I think like Olga says, I think she knew he was married. I think that I don't know. She tried to say that, she didn't know, but I don't know. It's kind of hard, not to know that he was married,
If
especially the
you
way,
look at the search, like there was some web searches that she'd been doing. She'd been visiting
yeah,
Shanann's Facebook page. So she knew,
yeah, she
she
knew.
knew. And, one thing I've been wondering lately, and it's kind of what inspired the thumbnail that I got for this video. There's no photos of her. Like There's like 5 or 6 photos of her, and it's like the same ones that everybody's seen. Everything is gone, and part of me is like, well, why are they gone? Is there something in one of those photos in the background that exposes some secret that she doesn't want people to know? You know, um, people don't think about that when they look at other people's pictures. The stuff in the background can say way more than the smiling face in the picture. And I don't pay attention to what I'm like taking selfies. I don't pay attention to what I'm doing. I bet you there was photos that she didn't want people to see because of the stuff that was in the background. Just it could have been something simple, but embarrassing to her.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of possibilities. But if you talk to a prosecutor and you say, well, hey, there's been this crime committed, and this person who committed the crime has a girlfriend, and she deleted everything off her phone, what do you think the prosecutor's going to say? Are they going to say, oh, that's normal? Well, we're not even going to ask her questions.
No, that's gonna open up a whole lot of questions. Like, why are you doing that? What are you trying to hide?
I've been meaning to like get like a list, like a video, like list of like all the times I've heard it in the news, these red flags, and it's like stupid stuff like deleting pictures and like little like things like, oh, you had an hour-long conversation, but you don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, these are all the things that they always say are red flags, but in this case, it wasn't. They let me see if I can find it. I might have it on my computer still. The video, the interviews with what is his name? Kevin Kovac. Yeah, I think. Let me see if I can find those. But he even brings it up and he says, well, that's very suspicious, but I understand.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I thought he was saying that to help her lower her guard so that, he can find out the truth. But either they like covered it up and deleted it all or something.
Yeah.
Just take me a second here to maybe. I do have. Maybe it's not. Nope, I'm not finding it. I got to get an actual computer monitor. This is crazy. All right, this might be it. Let me check. Yeah, here we go. I don't know if I'll be able to find the spot in it.
And she like just sent me like a screenshot of a news article of that case, and she was just like,
hey Destiny, thanks for joining.
I didn't mention that it was
my daughter.
anything to do with that. She's like, I don't know
Hey.
what it is. He works at
Hey Daniela.
She's like, I really don't give a shit. She's like, I just really need you to be here with me and my dad and this and this and this. And she was just kind of upset because I had asked her to please say no comments in the media, and it happened to be like right when her dad died, and I think she was feeling a little like, yeah, but I mean, you guys can read this. There's nothing in there of me actually saying anything about it. I just told
What's
her.
your phone number on that phone?
There's nothing in there because she deleted everything.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? They never pulled her records either, huh?
I don't know what they did. It's almost like they made a deal, but they deleted all the evidence of the deal.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes more sense that they know
She
stuff
said, if you're
than
not
they
under
don't know
investigation
stuff,
by the
because
police,
I
don't
can't
care.
imagine a
Why can't
prosecutor
you
just
and your
letting me
so-called
go.
best friend's father?
Yeah.
How many days she was back in Colorado before leaving? Do you know that?
Because I don't remember when they got home.
Right.
She's
I
lying.
don't.
I'm just trying
This
to
whole
get
time she's lying.
your memory jog there on that. But so this was, they get home, he had told you in North Carolina that they agreed to, and they're finalized their relationship.
Yeah.
This is all a lie.
They get home and she immediately wants to sell the house.
Yes, and then, so, I mean, I started thinking, okay, well, I know in Colorado, houses sell very fast here, so I was like, what's your plan? You know, and I was like, because you might want to be prepared, and I remember that's when the whole concept came up of, you probably need to start looking for a new place pretty quick, and that was when he was kind of overwhelmed with it, and I told him, I was like, look, like,
See, I think she's like trying to convince him to leave his wife, and she's lying about this whole thing. And
Yeah.
I think that 111-minute phone call was an ultimatum. Hey, you
Yeah.
got to pick one of us. You can't have both.
Yeah.
And
That's what basically she's saying there. Like, hey, you know, you got to start finding a house or an apartment, because I think she was kind of being like, hey, well, you're living with her. That's gonna stop. You know, that's where she kind of was like, hey, this is gonna stop, or you choose her or choose me.
yeah, I think
disregarded it. And it was kind of strange to me because like the whole week prior, he was like so excited that I was trying to help him because he's busy, I'm busy. So I was like, you look, I'll look, let's see.
they were spending all of their time together too.
Yes. Yeah.
They
Because
weren't
Nicole was gone.
busy and just like
Yeah.
calling him like every few days. They were texting 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to see if I could. Oh, I think this might be it where they talk about the phone.
I didn't charge the last thing I charged.
This one? Yeah.
Here.
What's this? Oh, this is the Verizon call logs?
It's from the 13th.
She got a
From
new
what
phone
date
and
to what
deleted
date?
everything.
You want this one back?
It's a month. It's
Sorry.
like-
No, you're good.
Convenient.
I don't know, it's a month, so it's probably whatever 30 days was, probably July 14th, I'd assume, so August 13th. You'll see it when you open it
Yeah,
up. you'll
I
see
agree
it.
with Olga.
But it's a month.
It was all when
So my
So
billing
can I
is-
man
just
was
take
gone
this real
too,
quick
so
and move it off?
they were just spending a lot of time together.
Yeah. I think she was lying to herself. If you believe her, she was lying to herself. She wanted to believe that they were getting a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one reason why somebody will believe a lie is because they're either afraid it's going to be true or they want it to be true.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody tells you, "Hey, I'm going to sell you this like $80,000 truck for $2,000. Here's the title; it's in my name and everything," and you're like excited, you're going to want to believe that that's true, that you're getting this great deal, and then
Yeah.
once you get it home, you might notice that the documents are like altered,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
then you get pulled over, and hey, you're driving a stolen truck, and you wonder why you got duped. You just want it to be true.
This phone's like 2 years old.
Okay.
But when she turned it on, a bunch of deleted messages from Chris that were on that
Uh-huh.
phone synced up with that phone.
Okay.
So that's the one I want to try to rip.
Okay, so we're going to download this
Yeah,
phone, but
this
we want
one's
to get
coming
the
as evidence.
context
Yep,
on
exactly.
here.
So
Okay.
this one's going to be coming with us as evidence. That one will just rip, so she has a phone.
Okay. I need you to log into Google.
I was trying to figure this out, I don't know.
Oh, okay. That might be an issue.
I know. Oh, I got these.
So maybe it was before this started.
You know
I
what's
wanna
crazy? That they let her keep one of the phones. If you wanted evidence, you're taking both phones. Like,
Right.
it's
Definitely.
not,
I
oh,
think
here,
when
you
she
keep
deleted
one,
it,
we'll keep one.
like even if they recovered, 75% of it,
Yeah.
they didn't get everything. But
Yeah.
I think he's talking about it right here, right before he leaves.
Some of this stuff is just things that you would never think about, and now that I'm like...
Olga, do you
I'm
remember where he
20,
talks about
I'm, like,
this?
starting to go back. There was something else that happened on Saturday that had to do with all of this.
Think about it for a minute. I'm going to see if my tech guy has his
Do that.
equipment
Do
charged,
that.
and we'll get your phone taken care of.
Okay.
So again, I'm going to have you sign this voluntary consent.
Yep.
It's the same thing that you signed in Thornton, saying that I didn't threaten you, intimidate you. You have a right to say no. I want you to read the document again. We're going to take your phone. We're going to use.
Yeah, Danielle, that's what they've been
called
saying.
Selfies.
I don't
If
know
you
if
go to
the
your
WhatsApp is
home store,
actually
that's what they
accurate,
use.
but I'm sure they had a
Sometimes
third-party
they
app.
used to move your
None of
stuff back
them
and
got
forth.
looked at.
It's the same thing. They're going to take that information, and then an examiner who is skilled in looking at cell phone data is going to look at it to try to recover the deleted material that we're after.
I hope
So,
that they can get
The
it.
deleted material is what I'm after,
I
obviously.
know it is. I feel so bad that I did that. I didn't even, honestly, that's not even what I was thinking about. I was just so,
Yeah, this is where he says it.
did not want, any presence from him.
So you're okay with us doing
Just
everything?
take the whole phone.
Awesome.
Just take it. Because I feel like we've been
I'm
trying to
going
do
to
this.
put all data on here,
Yeah,
just for ease,
take what
okay?
you need,
So read that, and make sure you sign it, that you understand that we're going to take all the data. Once I have all that stuff, I'll get your phone back to you.
That's okay. I mean, I'm not even going to use it anymore. I'm going to just use this.
Okay, I'm going to still get it back to you as soon as we're done.
Okay.
All right, so next week sometime maybe,
Okay.
or the week after or something somewhere in that time frame, okay?
Okay.
All right, relax for a minute, I'll be back in a sec.
Oh, I must have missed it. It must have been, it's somewhere in here, but it's okay. We've heard it before. But yeah, the WhatsApp thing, I think it started with Dylan Tallman's book. That was his neighbor in jail. And apparently they were best friends and they talked a lot and they shared all the mail and stuff. And he is the one that mentions WhatsApp. I think I remember something about WhatsApp coming up at one point in the one of the interrogations. I think the 2019 one, and Chris says, "What's WhatsApp?" I don't know that he was using WhatsApp. He might have been using Facebook Messenger, but they didn't check any of those things. And somebody I was talking to the other day said that it was probably a money thing. Once they got the the confession, they didn't need the rest to try to find, the warrants didn't get signed to search for those things in the third-party apps. But I don't know anybody that just uses text messages to communicate. It's either Facebook and text messages or WhatsApp and text messages. There's other ones I don't use, but I know there's many of them.
Yeah, there's too many to keep up with them. So,
but yeah, so I talk a lot about cognitive dissonance, and I was reading about it, and it's a term that I usually talk about whenever I'm talking about serial killers, and then the family and friends who knew the person have to basically look at their entire the entire time they knew this person, and that they have to rewrite everything they knew. All those little red flags that came up that they disregarded, they pop up in their mind. But it operates fundamentally different than when somebody is navigating deception in real time. And I think that's what Nichol Kessinger would have to be doing to not know that Chris is married, and to think that he's actually getting a divorce. But there is cognitive dissonance that navigates deception in real time versus when somebody reconstructs memories after learning about a loved one's crimes. And it could be any crime. It doesn't have to be murder. I mean, it could be, say you find out your sister or something was molested by your grandfather, and then you'll go back to your entire childhood, remembering all the times that something came up weird. And it just changes your memory, basically. Everything changes in a second, and that's how I typically talk about it. But in Nichol Kessinger's case, during her relationship with Chris Watts, she must have experienced some kind of active cognitive dissonance while processing contradictory information. She sees Chris go to his house with his wife there. She sees him with his wife on Facebook, and somehow she's still telling herself that he's divorced, or almost divorced. He might have had that bed down in the basement, but was he really sleeping there?
Yeah, I don't think he was.
The way it seems to me, the way Shanann was trying to fight for her marriage and like get counseling, she was giving him books on, marriage stuff to try to work things out.
Yeah, she was
Um,
trying.
and Chris met Nichol Kessinger, and of course, everything she says in the beginning of a relationship is like awesome. You remember the first time you met somebody, and you that first like 6 months, everything's
Yeah.
nice, everything's good, but it's like after that when it gets hard, and they'd only been together for 6 weeks, so they couldn't have known each other that well. Everything that they knew about each other was assumptions, most likely. And I don't know. I think that she was lying to herself. She must have needed what Chris had. He was the safety net. He had a family. He was doing well financially. At least that's what it looked like to her. He had somebody who wanted him, so that made him desirable. And maybe she just needed somebody to talk to at that time. And that's all. I mean, it was something simple, but Chris needed the validation. Chris wanted, somebody to tell him that his ideas mattered, that his feelings mattered. And that's exactly what Nichol Kessinger did.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
It's like when you see those videos of them, sending each other's those little like that video of Nichol Kessinger, like, "Oh, I just miss you," and she got that psycho voice.
Yeah.
That's really a psycho voice, It's like,
Yeah.
like that could be used in a horror movie, I think. Like it's kind of scary, but if you think about it in the way that if Chris wasn't married, that would have been a normal like beginning of a relationship.
Yeah.
But he was married, and she knew about it. At least partially knew about it. She might have been in denial.
Yeah.
But their relationship started in June, and it went until August of 2018. She was constantly confronted with contradictory information, and I think when she found when she found Shanann's Facebook, like that should have been the biggest clue. When he couldn't go out when she was home, that should have been another clue.
Yeah. And then when I'm assuming when she found out that Shanann was pregnant, I wonder if that made her think like, wait, like I thought you were getting a divorce and having, marital problems, but you're here having another kid, like your wife is pregnant. And so, yeah, I think a lot of that was like that pushed her to give him an ultimatum, like, hey, you either end this or we end this.
Yeah, I think it made her angry, and I think that's why a lot of people have. It's a conspiracy theory. I don't believe that she actually murdered anyone, but there are people that believe it, and they're strong. They strongly believe it. But because of that, she actually has motive. She had a man, and she thought she was getting him. She was looking for apartments for him. She's doing all these things for him, trying to help him get out of the situation that he's in, because that's what he told her. He was lying to her. And then when she found out about the baby, she's got to be furious.
Yeah.
And that is motive. I don't know that she did anything. And obviously the police seem to not think that she was involved.
Yeah.
But it would have, at the very least, sparked a conversation that didn't go so well for Chris. And she probably said, it's over. Hey, Chris, this is not happening anymore. You've been lying to me this entire time. Unless she was a woman who is like, got low self-esteem or something. She seems like a strong person. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know for sure, but it seems like she would be the type of person who would just like, hey, this is not working.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go find somebody else. But I mean, when you got your emotions involved, your brain doesn't always work right. It's like an override mechanism for all of the logical things in your life.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think all the time they were spending together, those however many weeks Shanann was gone, I think that gave her like a little, I don't know, maybe some peace. Like, oh, we're spending so much time together. But the only reason they were was because Shanann was gone. There's no
mhm.
way he would have been spending so much time with her if she was still there. So they were, I guess, spending so much time together that she kind of believed, like, hey, this is true, but it only happened because she was gone.
Yeah, they got to experience what life would be like without his family. This
Yeah,
could have been the key
yeah,
thing that, like,
hmm,
after Shanann goes to North Carolina, Nutgate happens.
yeah,
Meanwhile, Chris is over here living his fantasy life, and it's like amazing.
hmm,
And then he goes there to deal with his family, but he ignores them. The
yeah,
mother-in-law, Shanann and her mother-in-law are fighting. There's this big drama, and Chris doesn't say anything.
yeah,
And his mind is like, he's not worried about that because he's all he can think about is this like big new shiny thing over here. But I
hmm,
don't think he realizes that no matter how shiny that relationship is, give it 6 months
yeah,
and see if it's still shiny, because
yeah,
things change pretty quick. That new relationship stuff just kind of wears off a little bit. I mean,
yeah,
you can have a good relationship beyond 6 months. People do all the time, but if it's just lust, you're not going to have a good relationship after that much
yeah,
time. But yeah, I think he got to live the life he wanted. He saw it, he felt it, he touched it, he experienced it 100%.
yeah,
And then, you know, he gets woken up by his wife complaining about his mother trying to poison his daughter.
hmm,
And, he's like, I just need to get rid of them. It could be a tiny thought in the back of his head,
yeah,
but he kept thinking about it because he did it. He murdered his
hmm,
family.
yeah. He did. He did do that.
Mm. So, some studies on mass violence cases. Um, let's see, what did I write about that? I wrote down some like little things I wanted to share. Um, the psychological mechanisms operating in relatives of criminals who claim they saw red flags in hindsight represent an entirely different phenomenon, but it's still cognitive dissonance. But the research on hindsight bias, they call it, um, that I knew it all along kind of thing after
Yeah,
you hear the truth, reveals that knowledge of an outcome fundamentally alters the memory. So once you start looking back at everything, your memory actually changes. It's not actually what you remember. It's just that the new information, just like kind of like, I mean, if you imagine it like all ones and zeros, like they're all flipping, and now
yeah,
they're the opposite. Um, and your memory is just overridden. And studies of mass violence cases demonstrate this pattern. Also, 48% of mass shooting cases perpetrators leaked their plans to family members or colleagues or friends, and none of them thought anything of it
yeah,
until afterwards. And then all of a sudden they knew it all along. I think the scariest thing about looking into true crime, any murder, that's not like some hot blooded like incident where, people are just like angry. The guy's cheating, and the wife catches him. And so she pulls out a hammer and, things get gory.
Yeah.
That I can understand. It's still wrong, but I can understand it because that's a reaction in the moment. You're overridden by passion.
Yeah.
But this cold-blooded stuff, these people look normal.
Yeah.
Like I still like every day I say this and I think about it sometimes too. Like I'll be walking down the street and like that nice guy that waves at you, he's watering his lawn, he's got a little dog playing. That could be a current BTK guy,
Yeah.
he could be. And it's the creepier ones that we spot ahead of time and we stay away from. And it just blows my mind that you just can't know until you find out. And then once you find out, you have to go back and, decide if you knew it the whole time or not.
Yeah.
Hey, Gerald, I'm glad you're able to make it. I know it's late.
Yeah, it's crazy. You don't even know who your neighbors really are, Yeah, it's the person you see almost every day coming in and out, or you run into every day that you never know who you really have as a neighbor, or the person down the street.
Yeah, the one thing that sticks out to me is I bring up the BTK killer all the time. His daughter said something like, he didn't do it. He's the guy that taught me right from wrong. He taught me morality. So I mean, that's got to be crazy. He was well liked. He was the president of a church,
Of a church,
and he did Boy Scouts and all kinds of things. And people liked him. He was normal when he was home, but when he's out on the prowl hunting, oh my God, the guy's crazy. And he's a perv too, but he wasn't a perv with his wife. He was a perv with the people he captured. I've been reading his autobiography thing, and he's just a weird guy. The way he's got this mindset where he calls it cubing, and he like he's normal, and then he cubes, and then he goes on the prowl, and he's hunting. And he said he hunted hundreds of people, and he didn't always attack, but he was always hunting. And I mean, it's scary. He was doing self bondage crap, and like his wife caught him one time, and he like explained it some weird way, and she never she never brought it up again. And she came home or something, and he's like in the hallway, like all like self tied up, like probably wearing women's clothes.
Yeah.
The guy was
It's
weird.
crazy everything that he had in his, what was it, basement or something, in some room in his house.
He had a lot of notebooks. He had a lot of trophies, things
Where
that he kept from people.
the wife wasn't allowed to go in, and
he had them.
in.
What do you call it? He calls them hidey holes.
Yeah.
He had the little like hidden areas where he was just stuffing stuff in there so he can like remember them. But it was all like the killing wasn't even why he was doing it. He was killing them to like get rid of the witness.
Yeah.
His real goal was to do all the weird sex stuff and
bondage like
stuff.
A little man cave or something.
Yeah. Well, in his book, he calls them hidey holes all the time.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I don't know. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever read. The way he talks about himself, like I knew he was weird, and this guy seems proud of it. Like,
yeah.
But like the Golden State Killer, he also was. He'd been killing for years. He had a normal life, but I've read a couple times that his neighbors didn't like him and that he was kind of a rude guy. So he wouldn't have even been like a normal, super nice guy. He would have been just a normal guy that you don't really like. You wouldn't think he was a killer.
Yeah.
But Chris Watts, he is got this weird thing. Chris is lying to himself all the time. So he's one of those passive aggressive people.
Mm-hmm.
And, he always goes along with what everyone says. And then, secretly he's got these fantasies of probably himself being right all the time, and it just made him angry until he ended up murdering his family. But other family annihilators kind of have the same thing. There's all these common stressors like finances, marital stress, something that's going to, destroy your self-image. Another bankruptcy could be the thing. You got a mistress, you got a bankruptcy. I guess people are saying that the house was about to be foreclosed on, like within a week of, when Shanann got back. It was close, and he didn't know that yet, but he knew that they were close to filing a second bankruptcy. But there's a motivational structure for pretty much any behavior, and Kessinger, I think she was like, she just wanted to preserve the relationship that she had, that she thought was so great. And the love bombing, though, maybe she's a narcissist too, and we didn't know. Like, maybe she's just like, hey, Chris, I love you. You're awesome. You're amazing. And then one day she's going to switch gears. And then, instead of saying, oh, you're awesome, you're a piece of shit. You're lazy, you're fat, you're everything like that. I told you weren't like 2 weeks ago. And then, he's back in the same crap that he was always in with his mother and his wife.
Hey, but he did have that big change in physique, those last couple months or however so. Because he was a little bit heavier, and then he just started changing. So I think he was already on the prowl. Just, I guess Nichol showed up and he went for it. So,
well, I think that happens too. Like, if you're like a chubby dude and then all of a sudden you got muscles, you want to go out and like get noticed. So he could have been looking, he probably started noticing the flirting where he probably didn't notice it before. He just like didn't pay attention to it. And then all of a sudden, he's got somebody like, oh, wow, you're like amazing. You're telling him all the good things about himself, just like puffing up his ego.
Yep.
Trying to see if I got some other stuff here. Global text standard required. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that good of like information. I got a lot of stuff, but it's like all unrelated. But I wanted to talk about the cognitive dissonance, and I think I've already kind of covered it.
Olga says he wasn't attractive at all.
What? Who said that?
Olga.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what people think is attractive. I think everybody's got their own thing, but
it
seems like he's got a lot of fans. I mean, have you seen the letters they sent him? We had a show about this one time. And there's like hundreds of letters of like people with like sending naked pictures, and he's about to marry some girl apparently.
Yeah.
What is her name? I want to say like Tiffany or something. Olga, do you know what her name is? This new girl.
Yeah, he's got a lot of followers after all this happened.
Lizzie, yeah. Has anybody found out anything about her? Because I would like to talk to her and see, like, maybe she's got a different type of relationship with him. Maybe they don't talk about Nichol Kessinger.
Imagine talking to your new girlfriend about your ex.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like, these people are crazy. I don't know what they would talk about. it's like the fantasy thing. Like they fantasize about Chris with Nichol, and then they're like, "Oh, I got to have that too." And then what
Yeah.
happens? I don't know. It just gets weird, right?
I was like, what the?
But let's see what else I got here. I might be able to find a video.
Did Nicole have a kid? I think she did, right? Or
I don't think she has a kid.
no?
I don't think she does. I don't even think she was dating anyone before Chris Watts. At least not officially. This leave Jim alone guy. That's who I suspect might have been, but I don't know. There's just like as soon as this happened, as soon as this made national news, there was nothing on Nichol Kessinger on the web at all.
Yeah, she like I don't know. She disappeared.
I think you need like 50 grand to get yourself wiped off the internet. And the only things that are there are like the few things that they can't get rid of. There's nothing new. I
Yeah.
imagine they'll probably eventually get rid of the video of her at the funeral, which I think that was kind of a whoever shared that. I mean, it's a funeral. It's disrespectful to the deceased, I think. But I mean, I was happy to see that she was alive because I was wondering if maybe she was in like a mental hospital. I mean, maybe this really affected her. Um, I don't know. I try to think of all the weird things that could have happened, and I try to go with the most reasonable thing, and I think that it's probably an ultimatum. Um, but I don't think that would have put her in jail. Even if she said that.
Yeah.
And at this point, there's like so much stuff about. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. She can't even like come on the internet, on YouTube or any news channel and like tell her story without nobody believing her. Like at least 75% of the people won't believe her.
Yeah. And just
So
imagine every topic you try to talk, they're probably gonna want
Calling
to
to
know,
say hi.
hey, what happened?
Call me back.
what was that? Sorry. I didn't mean to click that.
Oh no. I just said just imagine anybody that goes out with her, hangs out, they're probably gonna want to know what really happened and stuff. So it won't even be a normal time.
I imagine there's some guys out there that are fantasizing about the Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger relationship and like, desperate to hook up with her, to get in this like weird, I don't know what, but I think it's a little weird the way people are just so infatuated with them, both of them. Chris was pretty lucky the first time he got married. Like his wife was, she wasn't ugly.
Yeah.
But this little clip is just like
I was just calling to say hi.
creepy love bomb.
Call me back. Bye. Bye.
People, I don't know. I think after like a few months, maybe a couple years, you don't leave messages like that to your spouse or girlfriend or but I know I've got all kinds of stuff. I was looking for one of those creepier ones.
Calling to say hi.
That was the same one. Well, actually, you know what I could do? I could probably pull something off my channel. Maybe not. There it is. So have you watched a lot of my videos on Nichol Kessinger yet?
Not all of them. I've seen a couple of them.
I'm trying to find one of the weirder ones I did where people think that she was like part of some sex cult. I don't think it'll let me download it. Oh yeah, I got a video coming up, and we'll watch this real quick. This is a video I did last year. And I thought it was pretty good, and my intention was to debunk this myth that she was part of some crazy sex cult called the OTO. And whoops, there we go. This might be with the AI voice I used to use too. I can't remember.
Watts confessed to the brutal murders of his pregnant wife and two young
I
daughters.
did it with my own
He
voice.
mentioned something that left investigators and the public uneasy. In a moment of chilling candor, Watts referred to dark things happening at Nichol Kessinger's home. What did he mean by that? Was it a vague reference to something more sinister at play?
You know, he was talking to Tammy whenever he says this dark things thing, and she just like brushed over it, didn't find out what it was. And everybody, I mean, this is what triggered this whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like something weird that somebody says. There was dark things at Nichol Kessinger's house, and she didn't say like what.
Could these dark things have directly influenced him in ways we might never
I think my videos
understand?
have gotten a lot better too.
Strangely, this statement was never thoroughly investigated, leaving a haunting gap in the narrative. Today, we're going to delve deeper.
You see, like that picture, like that's what I'm talking about. There could be something hidden in the background if I can get to it. Like you see, you can see some things there, but in this side over here with Chris Watts in the mirror, there's a few things that kind of stood out. I'm like, what the heck is that? Maybe it's nothing, but
narrative. Today, we're going to delve deeper into the mystery of Nichol Kessinger, her alleged involvement with dark practices, the Ordo Templi Orientis, a secretive elite society steeped in occult rituals, and whether or not these dark things had any influence over one of the most disturbing family annihilations in modern history. The idea sounds outrageous, but today we'll explore the accusations, the facts, and the chilling possibilities that have kept this case shrouded in an eerie mystique. Welcome to Timeless Mysteries. Please like and subscribe as we uncover whether these rumors are fact or fiction.
But yeah, the OTO, from what I found out after this, just by talking to people on my channel, because you know you can find out a lot of information, but talking about it, I think you gain more information. But I initially thought it was a satanic cult, and they do worship something like the devil, but it's also about like these sex rituals. It's a secret society in the sense that they don't list. They don't like give out the lists of who the members are, but it's a very public thing. You can like go to these places where they have like a public image, I guess you could say. So you're not going to get into all the scary, dark stuff, but they at least seem like they're not like psychos, like going out trying to kill people during solstices and you know sacrifice and whatnot. Because I actually heard a pretty scary story that August 18th is right around the summer solstice, right? You know, it's usually around the 21st. I think people were like, hey, that could be like they murdered the children on that night specifically to like invoke something, and I don't believe it. It's a little too
Yeah.
far fetched. Even if she had a tarot card reader guy on TikTok, that's just a guy. It's not like, it's just a guy.
Nichol Kessinger was from South Dakota and moved to Colorado hoping to build a new life. Known to have an adventurous spirit, she otherwise led an ordinary life with the usual ups and downs. It's said she had a fascination with New Age practices. Rumors began swirling that dark magic was somehow part of her life, but was it the truth?
I don't think
Adding to these layers of speculation was the claim that Nichol Kessinger had a spiritual advisor. While having a spiritual advisor is not inherently suspicious, it has fueled rumors that Kessinger was involved in more esoteric and sinister practices. Some have even suggested that she owns a New Age shop where she might have engaged in practices like tarot card reading, crystal healing, and other forms of modern-day mysticism.
So I know she had crystals and stuff like that, and apparently she put them in Chris's house also. But these, if you know anything about crystals, they're not like life-draining, soul-sucking crystals. They're usually for, boosting the mood,
Yeah.
opening up things, lightening everything. Hey, Maribel. Hey, you're up late. Or is it early there? We're just kind of talking about Nichol Kessinger. So have you ever talked to a tarot card reader before?
I haven't. I know people that do, and they believe in all that stuff. I have close family members that do believe in that and do that.
I've got a deck of tarot cards around here somewhere. I used to read those things, and then one time I predicted my girlfriend at the time was going to meet one of her ex-boyfriends, and then I was like, they didn't believe me because it sounded so opposite of what I would want, And then a couple days later, some guy named Lefty moved back to town. I guess he'd been in prison or something. I'm not kidding. His name was Lefty. And then it came true. Like, it was real. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. And one of my friends got me the tarot cards about 3 or 4 years ago, and I just haven't done anything with them. But I think there's something to tarot cards in the sense that, when you want something to be true, you're going to make it happen, and whether or not it's like actual insight or if it's actual, like, the universe speaking to you through cards, I don't know. But if the person who's receiving the information believes it enough, it's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I've never personally done it, but like I said, my close family members, I've never seen anything come out of it. I don't know if they're going to the wrong person or they're doing it wrong, but
when I was a kid, I went to a Renaissance fair and I paid $45 for a tarot card reading. And, I was like 16 years old, and, I wanted to know about, like, girlfriend possibilities and stuff. Right. But he started telling me about my spiritual path, and I felt ripped off. You're on a spiritual path and, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
yeah.
I wasn't on a spiritual path.
However, there is no credible evidence to suggest that Kessinger ever owned or operated a New Age store. The idea seems to be more rumor than reality, likely born out of the public's need to explain her connection to Chris Watts' crimes. It's important to remember that millions of people consult spiritual advisors, tarot card readers, and fortune tellers every day without any nefarious intentions. Even if Kessinger had been involved with such practices, it would not necessarily connect her to something as secretive or sinister as the Ordo Templi Orientis. The OTO is not just another secret society. It has deep roots in dark rituals, arcane knowledge, and a pursuit of power power that goes beyond the material world. Founded in the early 20th century, the OTO emerged as a fraternal and religious organization with deep ties to esotericism and the occult. These teachings are heavily influenced by the works of Aleister Crowley, one of the most infamous occultists of the 20th century, who claimed,
Aleister Crowley, I thought he wrote the satanic Bible, but he didn't. I found out after this video, but I don't think I said anything about that in this one. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff I didn't really know, but I just over the years, I just had this weird idea about things, and I heard of his name before. And I swear I heard that somebody said he wrote the satanic Bible, but he didn't.
To have unlocked the secrets of the universe through his exploration of ritual magic. Crowley, often referred to as the Beast, is a figure who conjures both fear and fascination. His writings, including the Book of the Law, laid the foundations for Thelma.
I think the only law is that there are no rules. I think that's what something like that is what they say in there, which is kind of scary.
The spiritual philosophy that underpins the OTO's teachings. While Crowley did not write the Satanic Bible, that was Anton LaVey. He did explore dark and controversial themes
I thought that
some have equated with Satanism. Crowley's works often delve into concepts like the left-hand path, which emphasizes the pursuit of individual power and enlightenment through unconventional and often taboo means. OTO rituals often involve complex ceremonies designed to invoke spiritual entities, channel hidden energies, and unlock the deeper layers of the human psyche. Some of these rituals...
There's no way I would join something like that because, they sacrifice people, right? And it's probably the new guy. You join one of these things and everybody's in masks and then everything, all of a sudden they turn to you and all eyes, and then you're like, what?
It's you're next.
You have no choice. I mean, it's scary. I would never I don't trust people enough to go crazy like that. I mean, if they're, I don't know, I couldn't do it.
Especially those associated with sex magic are shrouded in secrecy that is meant to harness primal forces for personal and spiritual gain. These practices have led to the OTO being misunderstood and feared by outsiders as inherently evil or even satanic. The OTO is known for its strict hierarchical structure, with members advancing through various degrees of initiation, each one revealing deeper and more esoteric knowledge. The highest degrees of the OTO are said to grant access to the most powerful rituals and the deepest secrets of the order, knowledge that remains elusive to all but a select few. Rumors have even circulated that there is a secret handshake or some other sign.
This was brought up because Nichol Kessinger's dad supposedly talked to the DA, and then all of a sudden Nichol was never investigated anymore. And I don't think there was a secret handshake. I don't think they say that he's in what is it, I forget, they have I just can't remember the name of it, the secret society thing that the Templars or something, the Masons. The Masons. Thank you, Olga. I don't know why I couldn't remember that, but they say he was in the Masons and that he was a high-ranking one, and they supposedly also have this kind of secret stuff like that too. And I've met a few Masons that had actual the ring and everything, and you have to know somebody to get into stuff like that. But they didn't seem like they were crazy doing crazy rituals or anything. The OTO is a little different. It's just about some sex rituals that give you power. I don't think. I think if it does, it's all placebo effect. But
OTO members to recognize one another, and that these could be used to exert influence or to protect fellow members from legal scrutiny. Some conspiracy theorists have speculated that such a gesture could have been used to ensure that Nichol Kessinger was not properly investigated by the police, despite her close involvement with Chris Watts. However, it's crucial to separate fact from fiction. While the OTO is indeed an organization with a focus on occult practices, there is no credible evidence that Nichol Kessinger was ever involved with it. The OTO may be a secret society. It is also very, very selective, typically attracting individuals who are wealthy, powerful, or influential.
You like those
Kessinger, by all accounts,
faces
was
I
an
put up there?
ordinary woman.
The high
There's little
influence
reason
people.
to believe that she would have been invited into such an exclusive order. The idea that Nichole's father gave detectives some kind of secret handshake and used his influence to manipulate the investigation into Chris Watts' crimes is nothing more than a conspiracy theory. There is no evidence to support the claim that Kessinger or her father had any connection to the OTO or any other secret society. These rumors are just that, rumors, born out of a desire to find an explanation for the
You
unexplainable.
know, part of me thinks that all of the deleted phone stuff was to get rid of all of this, and then it's still on Chris's phone. So,
Yeah.
you know, they think that Kevin like didn't investigate her anymore because all the stuff that he got to see on Chris's phone. I think that's also more conspiracy, but
myth of Kessinger's involvement in the OTO and dark magic is easily debunked. There remains a darker and more insidious form of power at play, psychological manipulation. This is a form of influence that doesn't require ritual or magic. It simply requires a deep understanding of human behavior and the ability to subtly control the thoughts and actions of others.
But you know, women have been controlling men since the beginning of time, you know.
Yeah.
She could have just been like that, you know, just like a regular person. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm going to play any more of this video, but if you guys want to watch it, it is on my channel. It is from last October. You can watch the whole thing and read all the comments and stuff. Yeah, Nichol Kessinger should have been investigated. She wasn't. And, you know, the more I investigate, I mean, I wouldn't call it investigated. The more I read about Nichol Kessinger, the more I'm leaning towards, well, maybe she didn't really do anything. Maybe she just looks suspicious. I mean, she just looks suspicious because she deleted her phone. And they say that her phone pinged at Chris's house the next day, but I haven't seen that ping report that actually says it myself.
Yeah.
So, I think when I first realized there was this driveway footage of the second person in the driveway, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's Nichol Kessinger. Look, the shoes are a different color." And then I looked at it again, and it's definitely been like, you know, it's just the same image of Chris, and they just shrunk it down. So it's like 30% smaller, but exactly 30%, like frame wise, is like,
Yeah.
and colored the shoes. But even if Olga says she saw it in the Discovery, and that could be true. There's a lot of stuff in the Discovery, and I've looked through a lot of it, and half the time when I'm reading through it, I don't know exactly what I'm looking at. But the pinging of a cell phone, especially back in 2018, wasn't 100% accurate. They would jump to towers they've already been on, the phones, you know.
Yeah.
So she could have been in her bedroom at her house and turned on her phone, and it just automatically pinged, you know, at Chris's house. It's not 100% accurate. It's a little better now. I think back in 2018, they could only like tell which direction you were, like within like a large amount of space. But anyways, guys, make sure you're hitting the like button. I forgot to tell you. But I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm getting kind of tired here. What about you, Esteban?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, just hit the like button. Make sure you watch the video again. And I guess, Esteban, you got a YouTube channel? Or is it just like one you watch other videos on? Oh, did I lose him? Are you still here? I think he said he had a YouTube channel, but if you want me to share your YouTube channel, Esteban, I will do that and get some people to come over and subscribe. But yeah, I had a lot of cool stuff to talk about, Maribel, but I don't know. A lot of times when I write this stuff out, it sounds good on paper, and then when I'm reading through it, it's like really too much in depth sometimes. But the idea of this one, I was going to be talking about cognitive dissonance and how Nichol Kessinger, yeah, it looks like we lost Esteban. But that she was lying to herself. If she really believed that Chris had left his wife, that if she really believed that he was sleeping in the basement and looking for apartments and, on the way out, she was lying to herself. And so at the beginning there, I was talking about cognitive dissonance and how that plays, like how you can use how it works. And it basically in real time alters your perception and memory. So she would have been seeing all these signs that everything he was saying was a lie, but she was making herself believe the lie. But anyways, guys, I'm glad you were here. I know it's late, but it's not that late here in Alaska, and it's really hard for me to get like a 5 o'clock live stream during the week. So I just thought I would give this one a try in the weekday, and maybe people will do the replay and they'll get some views and stuff. But I always like comments, so anything that you think about this topic, you can let me know in the comments, and I'll try to respond, and we'll just have a discussion, and then maybe the next time we talk about this, I'll have something more interesting to say. But as always, stay kind, be vigilant, and always question the truth. I'll catch you in the next video.